in all of these top 8 matchups, one of the things that will be different than in the Swiss is that these players will have had the opportunity to review the actual copies of the deck list, so they will have no longer any excuse to be surprised. Dustin Allen on the left, Black White Zombies. David Bauer on the right with Junk Reanimator. Now, you can reach all of us here in the Star City Games live coverage scene at SCG Live on Twitter and hashtag SCGDC.
Keep in mind that we will be giving away some free SCG Premium. After Game 1 here in the quarterfinals, we'll be asking you guys a trivia question, and we'll be announcing the winner after the match. So we have
a mulch
from David.
Sun Petal Grove, and into the graveyard.
A couple of copies of, I believe, was it Lingering Souls? Yeah, it was a promo Lingering Souls.
Promo Lingering Souls. There are so many different kinds of copies of cards right now.
Yeah. I was pretty sure that was a promo Lingering Souls, but I wanted to make sure. So
on the other side, we see a Cartel Aristocrats for Dustin Allen. Turn 3, David Bauer lays a Arbor Elf, and then flashes back a Lingering Souls. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here in the booth with Joey Pasco. This is the StarCityGames.com Open Series. It is live in Washington, D.C. On the left, Black White Zombies. On the right, Junk Reanimator. These two top 8 competitors have bested 546 other players to be in this top 8.
All right, so Dustin Allen, it is the onus is on him to match what David's doing. I think he can muster up something.
Well, I mean,
that was not a reference to Assemble the Legion, by the way.
Wah, wah, wah. He does have Lingering Souls of his own that he could match in his deck. I mean, that he can match up with.
He's keeping his hand face down. Yeah, just plays a land, passes back. We see Orzhov Charmer. We see Restoration Angel, Cavern of Souls. Didn't get a good look at anything else.
Now that Cartel Aristocrat 2/2 just sitting there. It can easily stop the mana producer from David, but it cannot stop the flyers. Another mulch.
It's Thragtusk, Unburial Rights, and land.
Okay.
Gets the Overgrown Tomb there into his hand, but more importantly, another big dude and a pair of Unburial Rights there in the graveyard. So that was a nice little mulch for David Bauer. Not the biggest guys, but he's got some Thragtusks in there. 4 mana Thragtusks aren't too bad.
His hand is full of mana right now as well.
He's got an Obsidat in hand, I believe, along with an Angel of Serenity.
Arbor Elf, and another flashback of Lingering Souls. He now has 4 spirits in play.
Passes the turn back to Dustin, who is draws another Orzhov Charm. So he's got double Orzhov Charm in hand alongside a Restoration Angel, at least 1 Cavern of Souls. He's going to play a Swamp here.
He's thinking. Only 4 mana, passes the turn. Restoration Angel can be hiding in the clouds, jump into play, and kill any one of those creatures should they attack.
And attack they do. 4 spirits coming over into the red zone. Dustin does indeed play the Restoration Angel that he had hiding in his hand, and that resolves, blocks 1 of the spirits. Dustin takes 3 from the other 3 dudes, and
I mean, now after combat, David Bauer has a lot of options.
He certainly does.
I mean, he can use Unburial Rights to get a Thragtusk into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And there we see Obsidat.
Obsidat
Ghost
in
Council.
play. Drains 2 life from Dustin Allen.
Gains 2 for David. There you see it. The one of the kind of flagship legendary creatures of Gatecrash, alongside Prime Speaker, Zagana, Lazav.
Yep. Dustin Allen has some of these in his own sideboard, actually.
And Dustin plays a Godless Shrine. That Obsidat phased out there, but that's the term I'm going to use for it, even though it's not actually phasing.
Yep. And Obsidat returns to play, yet another drain for 2.
And now has haste. That's how he works. Or, it's funny, it's obviously a group, it's a council.
That's how they work.
That's how they work, they're collective.
Restoration Angel in David Bauer's hand. In come the, looks like all of the non-mana.
Yeah, the team besides the Mana Dorks. He's got 3 spirits and an Obsidat. 3 spirits and a Ghost Council, so he's fighting on a completely different dimensional plane here. The Undead.
Restoration Angel waiting in the clouds for David Bauer to save any, well, not to save any, to save Obsidat should need be.
Yeah.
He cannot save a spirit. Well, unless you consider making the spirit go poof, saving it.
Yeah. So Dustin trying to decide how he wants to block here. He's going to put the Restoration Angel in front of a spirit. He's going to put his Cartel Aristocrat in front of Obsidat.
Now that he's got blockers declared, looks like he's thinking about effects. Nope, he just lets his guy die.
So Cartel Aristocrat goes away.
2 damage.
Angel eats the spirit. And yeah, 2 spirits get in for 2. So
that's a lot of mana.
A lot of mana. Here comes Angel of Serenity, and we know David has at least 2, if not 3, Thragtusks in the graveyard. So he's got plenty of refueling to do of his own. He's also keen on dealing with that Restoration Angel, but Dustin has other plans. Yeah, it goes with the Orzhov Charm, the first mode, return target creature you control, and all auras that you control attached to it, to their owner's hand. So he just bounces his own guy, saves it, and
Dustin says that is enough.
He could save his angel, couldn't save himself, and down a game 6 minutes into the match.
David Bauer takes game 1. Now, he is not the first, or sorry, he's not the only person that will have a chance to win this round. There are not only 3 other matches, but at home you can win as well. We do what we call our Star City Games Open Series Premium giveaway.
That's right.
Prize of which is 3 months of Star City Games Premium during the quarters.
Yep.
6 months of Star City Games Premium during the semifinals, which will be tomorrow morning, bright and early. And finally, 1 year of Star City Games Premium during the finals. And that happens both in the Standard and in the Legacy.
Absolutely. So we'll be doing that twice this weekend.
Right.
Starting right now.
Now, how do you actually win? If you've been watching a long time, you already know. But if you have not watched before, I'll tell you. We will ask you usually a trivia question that if you've been watching, if you pay attention, if you care about this tournament, you already will know the answer to. But otherwise, you could find out the answer with a little bit of legwork. And that trivia question, if you answer it correctly on Twitter using the hashtag SCGPremium,
which you can kind of see down there below.
Right,
I'll just say it's right there. Yeah, right there.
1 person will be selected amongst those who answer correctly to receive the prize of that round. So in this case, 3 free months of Star City Games Premium.
Yep, it's at random. It is not the first person who answers correctly.
Right, you don't have to be a speed demon.
Nope.
So, Joey, what is the trivia question?
All right, guys. What Gatecrash Planeswalker surprisingly showed up in Gerard Fabiano's top 8 list?
That asks for some knowledge. So it's what?
What Gatecrash Planeswalker surprisingly showed up in Gerard Fabiano's top 8 list?
If you think you've got the answer, make sure you tweet hashtag SCG Premium. 1 person who gets the correct answer will be selected to receive that prize. And as Joey said, you don't have to be a speed demon. It's not the first person. It's just 1 person. So now to our sideboard action that we have Dustin Allen and David Bauer about to go through.
Yeah, see the guys sideboarding there, deep in thought. Dustin Allen with the more aggressive deck. Now, do you think he wants to stay aggressive? He knows that David has quite the end game. You think Dustin? I imagine his plan is really to just try to win before David can put anything huge in front of him.
I think that's fairly close. I mean, I like Appetite for Brains. The ability to exile the card that's hit by it is very good, and that can be very effective against David's slow plays. And I also actually do like the Obsidat Ghost Council of his own, because he can drop that into play. It's a huge body. The drain life matters, but importantly, he knows that his opponent has access to 1 Obsidat main and a sideboard Obsidat, and it can kill David's Obsidat, which is a hard thing to deal with otherwise.
Yeah, so it can be both a threat and an answer there in that fashion, and he can match him Obsidat for Obsidat because they both got 2 and they're 75. At this point, they're, they've both got the same number of Ghost Councils. The other card that I was looking at there is Vampire Nighthawk. Just having the Death Touch, it's a threat and an answer. This one a cheaper threat, but David going to be putting much bigger guys on the board, and Vampire Nighthawk is sort of a cheap way to kind of hold them off.
I guess I don't like that as much. I think
Okay.
I prefer Oblivion Ring because I want to be being the attacker here. And it's true that the Vampire Nighthawk has evasion, with which or for which David has very few creatures that can actually block. Restoration Angel being one of them, and Angel of Serenity way at the other end. But I think I would hope to keep my curve low and stay aggressive. But either way, those are possible options that he could go. David Bauer, on the other hand, is trying to survive, basically. So we can expect him to bring in all of the trying to survive style cards. That would include cards like Rock's Faithmender, Slayer of the Wicked, a card I haven't seen in a sideboard for a very long time. It comes into play and it kills the Innistrad bad guys. That's vampires and werewolves and spirits. Oh my.
Vampires, werewolves, and
zombies, not
yeah.
spirits. Zombies. Oh my. And this is a zombie deck he's playing against, so the Slayer of the Wicked will be able to kill zombies. It seems like a reasonable call. And, you know, I actually do like that Obsidian. It's a 5/5 body, draining 2 life. Even if it costs 5 mana, it's a really good card.
Yeah, we've seen it do a lot of work this weekend. Gerard Fabiano playing it. Several players playing Obsidian. I think it was Shaheen Surani also playing Obsidian in his deck, playing 1-copy main deck. So another card that Dustin has that we didn't mention, Devour Flesh. It may not be something he brings in, especially considering his opponent playing Lingering Souls. It makes the Devour Flesh very anemic, but I think at the same time, having 2 copies of Devour Flesh against the bigger guys, if there aren't any Lingering Souls on the board, it's actually very good just to as a way to deal with things. It's an instant speed removal for Obsidian.
And they are underway. Dustin Allen leading off.
With a promo Gravecrawler.
And his opponent.
With a promo Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Look at that. Mana, and then the attack from Dustin Allen in for 2. Dustin Allen drops a second land and a second promo Gravecrawler. We have one of our first results in from the other elements of the tournament. John Goss with Junk Midrange
Yep.
beats Ted Felicetti game 1.
Yes, so just up a game.
In the Junk Reanimator Junk Midrange match.
Yeah, we have a mulch there from David, able to dump a couple of cards in the graveyard, including, I think as an Abrupt Decay here on David's side. He does have 1 in the board, and I think that was it. I think he just hit it. So an Arbor Elf comes down to hang out with that Avacyn's Pilgrim for David Bauer. Dustin Allen now with 2 Gravecrawlers on the attack.
Here they come. David Bauer drops to 14. Another land for Dustin Allen. And a Bloodthrone Vampire in play. 1/1 Vampire for 2. Can sacrifice a creature to get +2/+2 until end of turn.
And I see, it looks like a Lingering Souls off the top for David Bauer. There you see the Bloodthrone Vampire, 1/1 for 2. As you mentioned, sacrifice a creature, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So a card we saw a lot of, I think, last year when Vampires was a big deck, but we haven't seen it as often since last summer or so.
David Bauer takes 2 damage from his Godless Shrine. Lingering Souls, perhaps with flashback.
Perhaps. Not afraid of
or
wow, okay.
or just having mana open for the Grizzly Salvage that he has in his hand.
Yeah. Not afraid of Supreme Verdict from Dustin, so he could very well do a Lingering Souls front side and flashback in the same turn. And we see Dustin has access to, I believe, 2 copies of Lingering Souls in hand. And it looks like we may see one of them here. 3 mana? Lingering Souls. So he's going to match him spirit for spirit at the moment.
In comes a Bloodthrone Vampire and 2 Gravecrawlers.
And this is where Bloodthrone Vampire and cards like it are kind of scary, where it's like, well, it's just a 1/1, but
it's threatening 9 damage.
It is threatening quite a bit of damage with all those spirits and Gravecrawlers.
David Bauer is going to Grizzly Salvage before he declares any blocks. Basically, he's looking for information. He wants to know how he should plan his turn.
And you see Woodland Cemetery, Cavern of Souls, Rock's Faithmender, Avacyn's Pilgrim, and Angel of Serenity off of that Grizzly Salvage. David he's pondering that Grizzly Salvage, I'd say. Looking at his hand, you can see he has a Restoration Angel, and I believe it is another Avacyn's Pilgrim and potentially another Grizzly Salvage. Didn't get a good look at that third card.
He goes for the land.
Yeah, it goes with Woodland Cemetery, puts everything else in the graveyard, along with the Grizzly Salvage itself. And now, the onus is on him to block, or not. He is at 12, so this is pretty scary position to be in. I think you really need to put something in front of that vampire. And he thinks so too. He puts a spirit in front of it.
And Dustin, before combat damage is dealt, sacrifices one of his own spirits and then trades the Gravecrawler for the other spirit. 2 damage to David Bauer. Land after combat. Says go. David Bauer draws a Deathrite Shaman. A part of that Stay Alive package of Rock's Faithmender, which we've seen, Deathrite Shaman, and I believe Slayer of the Wicked is probably a part of that package as well.
Deathrite Shaman can do some good work against some of these zombies, particularly the Grave Crawlers, and of course the Giralf's Messengers. These guys that can come back or just have Undying. Very nice way to deal with them when they touch the graveyard, just before they're exhumed, so to speak.
1, 2, 3, 4 mana, flashes back, Unburial Rites. Brings into play the Angel of Serenity.
Angel of Serenity in play now. David's going to choose his targets.
This is going to nuke, potentially, Dustin Allen's whole world.
Yeah, he can pretty much just clear the entire board here.
I think that's what he's just pointed to.
Yeah, he definitely pointed to Gravecrawler and Bloodthrone Vampire, and that last point was kind of towards that spirit, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe he just said, no, wait, just the Gravecrawler.
Bloodthrone Vampire sacrifices itself.
Is going to eat
sacrifices the Gravecrawler, I meant to say.
Yeah. And the other target would be Rock's Faithmender.
In the graveyard from David Bauer. So he does have that there as a backup.
So yeah, so when that angel, or if that angel leaves play, David gets a Rock's Faithmender and Dustin gets the Bloodthrone Vampire back, both in their hand.
Okay, now we see 2 Obsidian in Dustin Allen's hand and a Lingering Souls, which he's casting. And things have just basically turned. Dustin now really in a dangerous spot. Yes, he has David Bauer to 10 life, but David Bauer has Unburial Rites in the graveyard, I believe.
Yes, he did. He only flashed back 1. I believe he hit 2 of them.
And has a huge creature in play, and Deathrite Shaman, which can begin working on those Gravecrawlers to gain life. Things are about to turn around, I think.
I'm actually wrong. He hit 2, and that was in game 1. He only, I believe, has... Oh, he's going up to 27 this turn.
Okay.
That one is exiled.
Okay.
Game 1, he did hit 2.
Game 1, it was the one where he hit 2? Okay.
Yeah.
But
still, bad situation for Dustin. He does pass the turn back to David. And, no, his hand is 2 Obsidats. He's got 4 lands. He needs to top deck a land, or those Obsidats are just dead. You see David, on the other hand, has plenty of lands and 2 copies of Restoration Angel, which cannot blink an Angel of Serenity. Keep that in mind.
That's true. You might be thinking, aha, he can blink. Nope, non-Angel.
Yeah, there is a reason they put that clause on there, and I believe Angel of Serenity is that exact reason. Also, other Restoration Angels. Because that would just get ridiculous. Yeah.
Grizzly Salvage during the main phase? Nope, maybe. Yep, Grizzly Salvage during the main phase.
And we see Overgrown Tomb. Overgrown Tomb, was it another mulch, Lingering Souls, and a Thragtusk.
He takes the Thragtusk. Lingering Souls in the graveyard.
Which is a fine place for it to be. David's hand, is it double Lingering Souls Thragtusk? I believe it is. Oh no, I'm sorry, double Restoration Angel. Yeah, that's
double
what I
Restoration
meant.
Angel.
Said one thing, thought another.
In comes the big angel.
Yeah, 5/6 flyer coming over. Most likely just going to get chumped by a spirit here. Dustin
takes it. He goes to 15. And it's going to be a 15-15 game.
It is. Thragtusk comes down to join the party. Soul bonds there with the Deathrite Shaman. Not exactly.
Okay, there we see.
So that top card was not land. It was a Geralf's Messenger, though, so that's something that he can cast. He has double Orzhov Guildgate and I don't know if it's a Godless Shrine or an Isolated Chapel there, but and a Cavern, which presumably is on Zombie. Then again, I could be wrong. Cavern on Zombie, Choi? I'm going to confirm that.
4 mana.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and just flashback
Lingering Souls times 2.
Yeah, twice. And lots of spirits. He needs one more. Smells like Team Spirit over there.
Now, David here...
That one looks a little different.
Yeah, David here did not do that block. I think because he's viewing this as he has to actually kill his opponent, and one of the ways to do that is to swarm the air.
Cavern is on Zombie, so Dustin definitely able to cast that Geralf's Messenger when he chooses to.
He blocks with the
ugly spirit.
The ugly spirit.
One of these things is not like the other. The Beckon Apparition Spirit, I think. So yeah, Thragtusk chumped.
David Bauer, while Dustin Allen is tapped out, I believe he's going to cast a Restoration Angel to flicker his Thragtusk, just so that nothing can interrupt this from happening.
And you're correct.
Away it goes, back it comes, in with a beast, in with 5 life. David Bauer now at 20, a whole huge army full of creatures, and 2 solid blockers in the air.
Now, this is rough for Dustin. He's down a game. His opponent has just reset his life total entirely and has a ton of creatures on the board, most of which are larger than Dustin's. 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures on David's side, 6 on Dustin's side, and David has 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess officially 5 that are bigger. I'm sorry, I didn't even see the Arbor Elf down there. But here comes more spirits. Oh, I'm just going to stop counting.
Lingering Souls adds itself to the party. So now David Bauer has 4 flyers, and Dustin Allen's plan looks a lot less exciting, even given the drawing of Oblivion Ring.
Yeah, not able to find a 5th land to cast Obsidat. Even so, I don't know how good Obsidat would be here. I mean, he's a fine creature to kind of get in the way of things if that's what he needs it to do. But he doesn't even have the option. He's got Geralf's Messenger, which again is too little to really have a huge impact on the board here. But I think you still probably cast it. He could also go after the Angel with the O-Ring, but it would give David back a Rock's Faithmender, and not something that Dustin wants David to have, if at all possible. Excuse me.
1, 2, 3. Geralf's Messenger. Lose 2 life. David Bauer down to 15. It's a 15-15 game yet again. And Gravecrawler from the graveyard. And in response, David Bauer says, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it with this here Deathrite Shaman. Oh, nope. He's like, never mind.
He actually
He's like,
did
you
not.
can have it. Wow, instead he goes for the aggro.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to eat this instead. Finally, our first match result is in. John Goss with Junk Midrange has defeated Ted Felicetti with Junk Reanimator for our first quarterfinal match result.
All right, David now on the offensive. Looks like he's going to swing with a Beast and 2 Spirits alongside Thragtusk and Restoration Angel. So Dustin, if he wants to preserve his life total, can just put his guys in front of the big dudes. He can also trade off some spirits. He can put that Gravecrawler in front. Gravecrawler can't block. He can't put that Gravecrawler in front of anything.
Angel of Serenity also joining the party. So basically everything that doesn't produce mana is attacking. Dustin Allen with 6 potential blockers has some decisions to make.
David nicely arranging the board to make it clear. These are the ones attacking. These guys are held back. The angel has, cards under it, but they're not obstructing our view. So thank you, David. Appreciate that. Looks like Dustin is arranging his board like these. I'm going to hold these guys back. So, all right. Spirit in front of Angel of Serenity. Spirit in front of Thragtusk. 3 spirits. Spirit, two spirits trading off against 2 spirits, 1 spirit blocking the beast. I'm not sure the angels the restoration angel actually blocked, or I don't know if the restoration angel got blocked.
In our 1 versus 8 match, Dark Naya versus Naya Blitz, they are on to their game 3, so that match is perhaps wrapping up as we speak. No word on the Gerard Fabiano-Mark Morrison match yet. I would be unsurprised if they were not in game 1 right now.
All right, David, with another Restoration Angel is going to blink that Thragtusk, gain another 5, and this game and match continuing to get further and further out of reach of Dustin Allen and his zombies and spirits.
Looking at Dustin Allen's 75 cards, I think it has approached the level of just irretrievable at this point.
I believe he top-decked a Tragic Slip.
Oh, wow. Does that mean Gerard Fabiano has won it?
Oh, we're going.
Okay, Gerard Fabiano's match versus Mark Morrison is in game 3.
And we may be able to get that match right now because there was a handshake from Dustin Allen as David Bauer.
Dustin Allen has scooped.
Yeah, he, like you said, I think he knew he didn't have much of a chance. Given a demonic tutor every turn, I don't know that he could have won that game. David just assembled the board state that he wanted to assemble against almost any opponent with all those beefy creatures and a lot